guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing the results from my 30-day challenge following the animal-based diet. I started the challenge on January 2nd. I was looking for a challenge that would help me kind of reset, refresh my health and weight loss journey this year. Something different to mix it up. I hadn't been having very regular and successful results following a calorie deficit alone. And after the holidays, my sugar addiction was like way out of control. I was constantly craving carbs and sugar, and all day long, the food noise was going in my head thinking about what can I eat or what can I eat next. The animal-based diet is a lower carb diet made up of mostly whole foods. Animal-based proteins, fruit, natural sweeteners like honey and maple syrup, but it cuts out a lot of grains and simple carbs, sugar, highly processed foods. And even though the list of options is a little bit restrictive, I actually found over the course of the 30 days, it helps simplify my meals in a way that I started being less overwhelmed by meal planning and shopping and preparing food. One of the credited originators of this plan is Paul Saladino. I will link his YouTube channel below, as well as a link to the animal-based 30-day challenge that has a lot of information there if you want to do some more research of your own. People have used this diet not only to help with weight loss, but also to help with inflammation in the body, hormonal imbalances, and to help balance out their gut health. My personal goals in following this diet truly was just to kind of get a clean reset, get back to whole food eating, and start making some big strides in my weight loss goals for this year. So I've been following the animal-based diet for the last 30 days with my meals mostly consisting of animal-based protein, fruit, some dairy, and using honey and maple syrup as my only natural sweeteners. I also chose to include, on rare occasions, homemade sourdough bread. I'm a sourdough bread baker. I make mine at home. There's no preservatives, there's no sugar. It's simply made of flour, salt, and water. If you're looking for some sourdough recipes or some tips and tricks, you can check out my playlist on sourdough baking. And I also included white rice on occasion in my diet. These two things not everyone follows on the animal-based diet, but based on my personal research with what Paul Saladino said about these items, because I was looking at this diet for weight loss, it would help my transition to whole food eating by having these options available, and because I wasn't fighting any hormonal imbalances, which is why a lot of people pull those items from their diet while following animal-based, I decided to include them on occasion in my plan. And when I say on occasion, I really mean on occasion. I tracked every single day using MyFitnessPal, all of my calories and macros for the day, and I was able to look back across those 30 days, and there were 3 days total out of the entire 30 that I had one slice of sourdough bread, and it was usually for breakfast. I made some avocado toast with eggs on the side. Rice I had a little bit more often, probably 2 to 3 times a week I would have a serving. Again, I was having really good progress while keeping these items in my diet, and I felt like they were giving me some more energy, helping me switch up the texture of foods I was eating, which kept me interested and keep going on this plan. Also, my goal of eating this way, animal-based, for the last 30 days was to be a jump start into just more whole foods eating, trying to cut back on processed foods and sugar, focusing on more clean, healthy, whole ingredients. So that's what I decided to do for my personal journey. So how did I feel over the 30 days? I won't lie to you guys, that first week was a little bit rough. The shock to my system, no longer having all of the simple sugars and carbs, especially coming off of how much I was indulging in those things over the holidays, was a big shock to my body. I am someone who gets migraines. They're normally hormonal based and happen around my period each month. I was nowhere near that part of the month, and I had the worst 3-day migraine and headaches starting on like day 3 of this diet. The first 2 days I felt great, I felt full, I felt satisfied. Day 3 I started to get headaches and feel a little bit tired. But by day 5, I was feeling better, headaches were gone. That's when I started incorporating some extra electrolytes into my diet. I used the Ultima sugar-free electrolyte powder, and I had that drink once a day, usually with my lunch. And it really helped me to get my body hydrated because I was losing a lot of water weight those first few days on the diet. One surprising trick that helped me too when I was struggling with those headaches, if you get started on this diet and you're facing them as well, is take a shot of pickle juice. I love the Grillo's pickles. They're definitely something that I incorporated throughout the last 30 days, and my whole family loves them, so we always have them on hand. But taking like a little shot glass and drinking pickle juice made my migraine headache go away within like 30 minutes. And again, that's because it was triggered by dehydration. One of the other things I had to figure out very quickly the first week of getting on animal-based was trying to make sure, even though vegetables are not included in this diet, other than what are technically savory fruits like zucchini, squash, butternut squash, those are all allowed and incorporated, and I use them a lot on my plan, as well as sweet potatoes. I think I forgot that in my list before, but sweet potatoes are also an item allowed. But your other root veggies, leafy greens, those ones are not included in this plan, and I had to figure out how to get enough fiber in my diet. Jumping onto this diet plan, some people notice issues with constipation, others the opposite, can have some issues with diarrhea. It's all about finding the balance of having enough fiber and balancing out enough fat in your diet, since you're cutting out that carb energy source. But I would say some of these negative side effects totally went away within the first week of being on the plan. I started feeling a lot of energy, positive outcomes. I don't have that like sleepy hump in the middle of the day where I just wanna lay down and don't wanna do anything and feel exhausted around like 2 o'clock. I've been able to push through. Although I will say I've also been wanting to go to bed and go to sleep for the evening earlier, and my sleep has been more restful. During the holidays especially, and I think that's from multiple things, whether it was the sugar and carbs in my diet or also, you know, having alcohol more. Alcohol is a no-go on this diet plan. I haven't had any alcoholic drinks in the last 30 days. I was having really disrupted sleep prior to being on the animal-based diet. And I was wanting to go to bed earlier, but I was having good, restful sleep and waking up maybe like 10-15 minutes even before my alarm clock as I've been following this, versus that alarm clock hitting or one of my kids waking up and waking me up out of a deep sleep. I've been waking up earlier because I've actually rested without multiple wake ups during the night. But I honestly think the biggest positive for me is how good I feel. I feel positive, I feel refreshed, I feel energetic, and I'm not constantly focused on food and what I'm eating. I'm not constantly thinking about my next meal or what I'm gonna eat, or that I need to pick up a little treat here and there. The food noise has quieted on its own just by changing the way I've been eating. There's a lot of protein in this diet, so I feel full, longer, and satisfied. So to share a couple ideas of meals I was eating while following this diet the last 30 days, for breakfast, almost the entire month, I was meal prepping souffle egg bites, like the Starbucks copycat ones. They were bacon, egg, and cheese. I just shared that recipe on one of my recent meal prep videos. I will link it in the iCard above. But I would have 1 or 2 egg bites with some fruit, and then also some chicken sausage on the side for an extra boost of protein. If I wasn't having egg bites, sometimes I'd want to mix it up and not do eggs in the morning, and I would do a Greek yogurt bowl with fruit and honey. Some of the most common lunches I had while following animal-based were burger bowls. These are similar to the Big Mac salads I've shared previously on my channel, but no lettuce. So it was ground beef, cheddar cheese, pickles, and I would use mustard and sometimes a little bit of Greek yogurt to have like a little bit of a dressing in there to taste like a burger in a bowl. I also would sometimes have leftovers from the night before for lunch. That's another hard thing about following kind of a specific diet plan. When you have a family, I'm married, I have a husband, and I have 2 little kids, a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old, and I still have to cook for them. My husband kind of followed animal-based with me. Anytime I was making a meal for myself that we were eating together, like dinners at night, he'd eat the same with me. We meal prepped some things together for breakfast and lunches, but other times he would do his own thing. He wasn't following it very strictly, but he was very supportive and would eat the same meals with me, so I didn't have one more meal to make. The kids ate a lot of the same meals with us too. In the last 3 days, they discovered they like steak, so sorry to my grocery budget, but hey, our kids like a new food. Unlike the carnivore diet where I feel like you see beef, 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 steak, steak, steak all the time, I really feel like on animal-based I did a good job of rotating around the types of animal proteins I was eating. So I ate a lot of eggs in the morning for breakfast, but in the evenings we would mix it up. We would have steak maybe once or twice a week at the most. One week I did a crock pot pot roast, and that was a great meal prep that gave Josh and I multiple meals, and we would have that with some rice and some squash. But we also ate a lot of salmon and shrimp and had multiple meals that we used chicken in. It was all just about making sure my macros at the end of the day kind of balanced out. And I was tracking everything in my fitness plan. Like I said, I was able to, as I logged things, take a look at where my percentages for the day were for carbs versus fats and proteins. Personally, I was trying to follow a breakdown where of my 1850 calories, which was my calorie deficit for the day, I still followed a calorie deficit because just because you're eating cleaner doesn't mean you're automatically gonna lose weight. You still have to be in a calorie deficit, which is simply eating less calories than your body burns daily. I used a calorie deficit calculator to find where I should be for my weight loss goals. And then I utilized the tools in the MyFitnessPal app to kind of figure out if I'm doing a lower carb focused diet with these whole clean foods on the animal-based plan, how much of my day should be from those 3 big macro groups of carbs, fats, and protein. So I tried to stick with only 20% of my daily calories coming from carbohydrates, 30% coming from protein, and the other 50% coming from fats. I'm gonna share a whole separate video on some of my favorite meals I ate while doing this 30-day animal-based challenge. So make sure you're subscribed so you can check out some of those easy recipes to get yourself started. I've talked about the cons, I've talked about all the pros and benefits that I've been feeling over the last month. Let's get into the weight loss. On January 1st, 2025, I weighed in at 316 pounds. And as of hitting my 30-day mark on the animal-based challenge, I'm weighing in at 305.4 pounds. So I have lost 10.5 pounds in the last 30 days. I also made sure to take a 360 video of myself as well as my measurements because pounds are great, but sometimes you see so many benefits and how much you change in your body over the course of 30 days with visuals in addition to the number on the scale. I see a huge change in the depuffedness of my face and body. I'm so much less bloated. I lost 1¼ inches on my neck, 1.5 inches from my bust, 1 inch on my bicep. When I tried to measure my waist at the beginning of the month, I was off of my 60-inch measuring tape. So my best guess is I was about 62 inches previously around my waist, and at the end of the month, I'm 58, which is a 4-inch loss. I lost 2 inches on my hips, 3/4 of an inch on my thigh, and another 3/4 of an inch in my calf. For exercise this past month, I'd been walking daily. I got on my Rebounder a few times throughout the month, but not until the latter half. So probably the last 2 weeks of the month, I was doing a 15 to 20 minute Rebounder workout, maybe 2 to 3 times a week. My main focus was changing up my food and how I was eating. As I move into the next month, I'm gonna look more at exercise and adding more of that to my plan. But just to switching up and eating more whole foods, animal-based over the last 30 days, I lost 10 pounds and over 10 inches on my body. I feel like I've gained so much confidence and energy and really refreshed my desire to keep going on my health and weight loss journey. Sorry if I kept playing with my hair throughout this video. I chopped it all off yesterday. I have been wanting to go shorter with my hair again for a long time. I've had super long, just straight fine hair for the last few years as I've been doing mom life, just throwing it up in a bun and going about my day. But I was finally feeling confidence and like just the energy to get myself ready and feel good about myself. So it was long overdue. I cut off over 6 inches. And I feel like so much of that has come from my experience in the last 30 days. My face has thinned out. I felt like I could finally cut my hair and it would be flattering. And I'm also excited because I feel like there's just so much more I can do with it and I can style it without it just being long and needing to just be tossed up in a hot mess. Even though the weight loss and loss in inches is amazing, but how I'm feeling, my confidence, my energy, the way I'm starting to feel beautiful again, it's so much better. So going forward to the next month, I'm gonna do another 30 days following the animal-based diet. I'm gonna be doing it 80-20 this time, sticking with the idea and principles of whole food eating. I just am going to add more vegetables basically back into the diet. I'm still staying away from extra processed foods and sugar, still going with no alcohol, still staying away from most of the processed grains, just sticking with homemade simple sourdough bread. on occasion, or some white rice. I'm not doing pasta this month. And I think that's just what I need to do to keep going on this really positive trajectory that we're on. I am also going to officially get into a new step challenge. We're adding the next part of my challenge. So we're gonna keep on with this healthy whole food eating, doing an 80-20 of animal-based diet, mostly focused on whole foods. But today I'm starting getting back into walking 10,000 steps a day. So I've been getting outside and walking every day. The weather is beautiful here in Houston right now. We're starting to warm up. We are officially already heading into that spring weather. So I'm gonna push myself to hit that 10,000 step goal every day for the next 30 days. And I will be back in another 30 days with a 60-day update on how eating animal-based whole foods is going for me on my health and weight loss journey 2025. Thank you guys for all your support and for following my journey this year. Please hit the red subscribe button if you're not yet so you don't miss out on my next video. Lots of whole food eating inspo, meal ideas, recipes, grocery hauls, and daily vlogs coming to share with you. Hit the like button if you enjoyed today's results video and update. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.